Hey, what is good? What is good? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, you know who I be. Good Dr. Mike TV. Back again, once again, fighting against the YouTube gods, fighting against the internet gods, because they ain't trying to let me go live with this topic tonight. So guess what? Hey, when in doubt, let's video this thing out. All right, so first time to the channel, guys, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're notified, do all the good things to make yourself well-versed in the good docs content. All of my good stuff shall be listed in the links in the description area below. Let's go ahead and get to it. Are Filipinas just using foreigners to make their own men jealous? Interesting question, Doc. Where did all of this come from? It was interesting because I put out a video probably about a couple of days back, maybe a little bit more, maybe about a week or so, talking about this is the reasons why foreigners will always be the better deal. Right, so I was having this conversation and I gave my defense of it all and why I feel foreigners are always the best choice. Talked about every aspect that I possibly could. Of course, I didn't touch on everything, but I touched on enough to give you guys a general synopsis or a general idea of where I was going with the topic. Thought I pretty much hit it on the head. Somebody came to me and said, Doc, what if Filipinos are just using foreigners to get their own men, or just using foreigners as placeholders in order to get attention from their own men, or to show that other men are attracted to them, or to basically, like I said, use foreigners as a placeholder until their particular guy comes around? And I was like, that's a great question. So I wanted to bring it to the table. Again, guys, everything you have to say, leave it in the comment section below. Let me start from my own personal perspective. All right, this is what I truly believe in reference to, do I believe that Filipinos are using foreigners to make their own men jealous? I don't. I don't believe that at all. I do not believe that Filipinos are using foreigners. I actually believe that there are quite a few Filipinos who are actually interested in being with foreigners, actually interested in, like I said in my last video, creating relationships, long-term opportunities for themselves that they could probably only get when dealing with foreigners. But there's always that but, ladies and gentlemen. There's always that moment. A lot of us still believe that in some cases, some instances, Filipinas may be using foreigners as the come up, but there's always a boyfriend or a significant other on the side pulling the strings of the Filipina. As in, this guy or this girl or whoever the fuck it is on this side is pimping out their girl to the foreigner. We don't know that baby girl is being pimped out to us, the foreigner, man. But there might be somebody in the background pulling the strings, using their girl as puppets to get whatever it is that they can get from the foreigner and give it to the guy. You've heard stories, man. Let's not act like this is something brand new. You've heard stories about guys putting houses and lots and all kinds of businesses or whatever it may be in their Filipina's name because they can't have it on their own or in their own name. And you've heard that Filipina leave that guy, take everything, and may have had a guy on the side the entire time. So I would be remiss if I didn't bring up that point when we're talking about, are Filipinos just using foreigners to make their own men jealous? I don't necessarily think that it would be using them to make their own men jealous, as in they want the foreigner to play the role of the guy that they have on their arm or whatever to make the guy look at the girl differently. Not like a foreigner guy would probably use a Filipina girl to make women in the West jealous. Completely different tactic, completely different strategy, right? But I do believe that there is a potential chance, not in all situations, but in some situations, that a Filipina may do all the right things. And you have to think about it like this. They'll do all the right things to get this guy in their corner or on their team. And there's always a guy in the background. This guy you'll never know about. This guy you'll never hear about. You want to know why you'll never know about and or hear about this guy? Because he's 100% complacent with the idea of his girl going out and being with that foreigner guy. Maybe this guy is in the province, maybe not in the same city, because sometimes you'll have situations where a Filipina may come across this Filipina with this foreign guy and she'll look and say, ain't you dating so-and-so? I've had that happen before. Like, you'll know that she's dating some local dude through another Filipina. I've had this situation happen to me before. Thought it was fucking funny. I mean, I had just met her. We had just went in the mall. I don't know if the girl was saying that to kind of let me know that she was dating or seeing somebody so she had a chance, because it kind of came off that way. You know how when some dudes in the West be like, hey, you know, old girl been calling you and shit, to kind of like mess your game up a little bit. It kind of felt like the Filipina was trying to mess up the Filipina that I was with. It felt like she was trying to mess her game up, like, you know, trying to like throw a wrench in whatever plan that she had. And I'm glad that it did happen. Again, it's a live and learn situation. I didn't lose anything in that situation, but I could have. Not necessarily a house and lot, because I ain't even bought my own girl that shit, but I could have lost some money. I could have lost something in the process, right? But it goes back to the saying, man, you cannot understand, or you may never know. Especially if you're trying to play this long distance relationship stuff. Don't even get me started on that one. Don't ever get me started on LDRs. I'm in one right now. Fortunately, I was with my girl for a significant amount of time before we actually separated and had an LDR relationship. So my girl knows what it's like to live with me. She understands who I am. She understands what I expect. She understands what is not tolerated. And she understands what is okay, right? And because she knows that, I believe that my young lady, in my absence, knows how to act accordingly. I respect her, got nothing but love for her. I give her free range. I don't need to be on top of her 24/7. I don't need to know where she is 24/7. I don't have to know where she is 24/7. She just volunteers that information to me just because. If she's going out to the mall, she'll text me on Viber. Babe, I'm going to the mall. Going out with some friends, if she chooses to, because my girl don't really care to hang out a lot with people. She's more antisocial than me. She'll tell me, like, babe, you know, our friend, you know, so-and-so asked me to go out with him, and I'm going to go out with him. I'm like, okay, have fun, be safe. That's how it goes. But that's me knowing my relationship, knowing who I'm with, and knowing the person, as opposed to starting this relationship online, never actually meeting in person just yet, and actually trying to figure out what it is that I can trust her with and what I can't trust her with. Sometimes a girl will tell you she's going to bed so that you don't text her or bother her so that she can entertain her local guy. Sometimes the local guy is right next to her while you're texting her, while you're having a conversation with her. She'll sit there and say, I love you, babe, while this guy is laying right next to her. And this guy probably rolled that girl over and wet that ass out on your dime, because I'm pretty sure you're sending money too. So do I believe that Filipinos are using foreigners to make the local guys jealous? No. But do I believe that there is some circumstances, not all, because all Filipinos are not like this. This is not all. Let me make sure I say that, because people like to think, you over here generalizing girls and stuff. All Filipinos ain't like that. I know. I got one. I'm straight. I don't believe my girl is like that at all. So it's not that I believe in the general essence that all of them are low-hanging fruits, right? I don't believe that. But you would be remiss if you did not think that if you're trying to create a long-distance relationship with a girl you've never met in a city you've never been, whatever it may be, wherever she's from, you would be kind of you would be confusing yourself, or I should say not giving yourself the benefit of the doubt if you didn't think that there could potentially be a guy that is local that is holding down your spot until you got there. Because again, your spot when you come is probably going to be temporary. What? 2-week vacation out of the year at best? All she has to do is entertain you 2 weeks out of the year. Think about that for a second. 2 weeks out of the year, and you're sending money to her probably year round. Focus on that real quick. 2 weeks out of the year, she probably has to entertain you. Maybe a month, max, out of the year, she has to entertain you. And then while you're going, she gets to spend time with her other person. And probably all of the money that you send to her, she's probably giving to that guy. Do you not think that that's plausible? That's all I want to say. I'm not saying that it's happening, but do you not think that that is a plausible situation? You would be a fool if you did not. So again, Filipinas can use foreigners. Everybody knows that. Foreigners can use Filipinas. Everybody knows that. I can tell you quite a few situations where I've used Filipinas to get me laid by other Filipinas. This was supposed to be a video in itself, but because I'm in a good mood and because this was supposed to be a live stream, let me go ahead and drop this nugget of information for you. There are 2 ways in my life, or 2 particular situations, where I know that utilizing another Filipina to get me laid has paid dividends. Number 1, when I first got into the country, again, channeling Marcus, noted, this is not the Dr. Mike TV that you guys know, the lovable character that is madly in love with one woman. We're talking about Marcus, all right? Channeling my old self back in the 18, 19 year age range, right? So there was this girl I was talking to, right? She worked at a restaurant that I love to eat at. This food was great. I spent a lot of time there. I saw her, I got her number, and I tried to text her. She did not text me back. I think I texted like 3 times. She kept blowing me off, or the text message was so dry. Like, hi, hello, I'm fine. You know, she wasn't engaging in the conversation, so clearly she wasn't interested in me. About 3 weeks to a month go by, me and my partner, who was a female, by the way, for a project that we had at school, we went to this restaurant to eat, okay? So I'm sitting down having my meal with my classmate. She's super cool, man. Like, she's a great person, all around, great spirit. I had nothing but love for her. But I was not sexually attracted to her in any manner. But, you know, we're laughing, we're conversating, we're having fun. I didn't even know that she was working that day. But she texted me later on that night talking about who was that girl that you came to the store with. She just asking me this out of the blue, random. And I said, you know, that's just a classmate, you know, somebody I'm working on a project with. Why? Like, why are you even asking me that question? Like, why the fuck do you even care? Oh, nothing. But she was like, oh, what are you doing like this week or some shit? So now all of a sudden she's trying to hook up with your boy. And yes, you know those conversations when she's trying to get it in. So in my infinite wisdom and the fact that I was able to draw conclusions quickly, I soon realized something that you guys probably already know by now. But at that time, I didn't know it. I said, you know what? She was jealous probably because she felt like the girl that I was with looked better than her. And when she realized that the doc can pull a chick that looks better than her and that I'm actually a hot commodity and that I actually have options. Shout out to my boy Black American Expat, who used to say that all the time, exercise your options. But the fact that she kept saying, the fact that I thought about that and she knew that I had options and women that look, or at least how she felt, looked 10 times better than she did. Now all of a sudden, I am a viable option for her. Please believe I wore that ass out. Don't even think twice, man. And I did it on purpose. I ain't never texted back. I said, that's what you get, bitch. Right? That's what you get. So when I realized that I could use other Filipinas to make another girl jealous or to get them in the fold, Marcus lost his mind. Just note that. All right. So the second situation, and a lot of foreigners probably won't do this, but I do believe that it will work for you if you do utilize it in the right way. I've learned that family members will be your biggest champions. Think about that, guys. How you can use other Filipinos to get you laid? Family members. Lola, grandma, the mom, sisters, cousins, the Beckys, fucking a Becky cousin or whatever. Sometimes you'll have these people in her ear talking about, oh my God, he's such a handsome foreigner. You're not going to hook up with him, or you should give it to him. You think I'm fucking playing games with y'all, but Doc is as serious as a heartbeat. A girl that may have never even thought about giving you a chance. If you get in good with the family, a lot of y'all probably won't meet the family, but I'm just saying, if you do ever find yourself meeting a relative of any kind, of cousin, you know, the mom or the grandma or whatever, and they love you, shit, they will be your biggest champions. And they will probably just fucking nudge that girl to give it up to you. Oh, you need to give it to him so that you can keep him. Oh, he's so guapo. Oh, he's a handsome American man, or whatever they say. I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but you get the point, right? If you play your cards right, other family members can get you laid too. You're talking to a pure genius right here, a methodical motherfucker who's done this before. Again, 18, 19, not proud of myself, but when you realize that this shit actually works, it works. And it's beautiful. So, like I said, I know I digressed and went on a whole tangent, but in the same right that a Filipina may be using foreigners, you could use Filipinas too. Sometimes it's just a using game. I don't recommend it. I mean, I didn't really feel the greatest after doing the things that I did, but at the time I didn't feel anything because I didn't have any emotions. and you know, I was going through a time just being young and doing my thing. And you know, I made sure I was honest and I made sure I was fair, you know, across the board. But you have to understand, guys, there are situations where Filipinos will use you. And it's okay. Because likely you're using them too. But if it ever comes down to the fact that you don't believe that there's probably another guy on the side that's probably getting what is yours because you're not physically there, then you're sadly mistaken if you don't think that that is true. That's all I'm trying to say. You got to give yourself the benefit of the doubt, but you do have to think between the lines. Never set yourself up or never commit yourself to anything until you know that it's more official than a whistle. Until you're physically there, until you can see the situation, until you can see the time that she's actually able to spend with you. You know, you can check mannerisms and vibes and stuff like that, because I've always known This is one thing that I know about Filipinas. Filipinas find it very, very hard to hide their true intentions. It's very hard for a Filipina to hide their true intentions. Some girls can be dormant for months until they get that green card, and then they go apeshit crazy. But that's very rare. Those are the rarities. But most Filipinas, within a couple of weeks to a month, you'll start to see a side of them that you either like or a side of them that you dislike. Because their true self has to come out eventually. The honeymoon stage, when you're just dating, it doesn't last forever, guys. Trust me. So if you can weather the storm of all that niceness and shit, eventually they'll show their true colors. It's not necessarily going to mean that the true colors are going to be the most negative aspect that you could possibly think of. But she'll show you who she truly is. And if she keeps that same energy consistently for a standard period of time or a significant period of time, then you might be able to say, you know what, maybe she is real with me. Again, there are other variables that you need to look into to see, or if you might feel that you might be getting used. But again, you might be able to figure out if that really is what you're looking for, if that's really is what you want, or if she's just using you to either make another guy jealous, or if she's just using you to get your finances, to help finance somebody else. Again, not saying that it is happening, but not saying that it can't happen. Because again, over here on the Dr. Mike TV channel, man, we try to keep it as real as humanly possible. I like to be positive, but I'll be damned if I don't sit there and tell you the realness, because I got to. Because it can happen to any one of us. Right? It could happen to any one of us. Going back to the topic of second choice that I never really got to make that video on. In that video that I was going to try to explain to you guys in that live stream I had, just tying it all my shit together. I hope y'all made it this far. But basically, like I was trying to explain to you guys, that I don't think you guys heard it, but I'm going to give it to you now. With us being a Filipina second choice, what I was saying is foreigners, likely we are a Filipina second choice, but also a Filipina is our second choice as well. Because when we come out the womb, we're not necessarily coming out saying, hey, I like Filipino women and Filipino women only, right? After you date a while with your own kind, after you date in the West and all of that stuff, you start to realize if they work with you or if they don't work with you. And then you start to, again, see what options live overseas. Maybe it's because somebody told you about it. Maybe they got relationships with Filipinas as well, and you try to see how it works out for yourself. So you actually start to just venture out and to date in other countries and or women who live by different cultures to see what fits for you, right? So it's never out the womb, I like Filipino women, right? Some people said that they first girl with Filipinas. Crazy, but hey, it could be. But opposite way, Filipinas don't come out the womb talking about, oh, I want to be with a foreigner man. That might be like a talking point that they may hear from their moms and their cousins and stuff, talking about you should get you a foreigner man or whatever. But ultimately, I do believe that there is always a local guy who had their heart first. There's always a local guy in the cut who had that ass first. Whether he hit it or not, it was his. That Filipina's heart belonged to him first. So we never are each other's first choice. We're always each other's, likely, second choice. But that don't mean shit. All that means is when you step up and it comes time for you to do what you need to do and be who you need to be in the time that you need to be that, she gonna realize, oh, this is the motherfucker for me. Don't matter what you are. It don't matter what type of foreigner you are. If you step up and you be who you need to be for her when you need to be that, and vice versa, she does her part. Ultimately, y'all will choose each other. So, if somebody got to a Filipino or dated a Filipino before she dated me, I'm not pressed by it at all. I can tell you right now, I hope she doesn't get mad at me, and this will be the last thing I'll tell you guys because this is dragging out. But my girl used to like a dude that was her classmate before me and her got together. And even after we got together, they still remain friends. Now, a lot of people will be like, Doc, you ain't jealous? No. Don't have time to be jealous, bro. I was doing my own thing, you know? And when I say doing my own thing, I was focused on getting my school shit together. And, you know, I didn't feel as though that relationship would ever spawn off into anything. Right? I wasn't threatened by him. You know, I see him. I dap him up, man. I have no, you know, nothing against this guy at all. He was actually a pretty cool kid. Matter of fact, his parents were nurses in the United States, and he actually ended up coming to the United States and getting his green card. So, you know, he came from, I wouldn't say means, but he had an opportunity to come to the United States. So, you know, he's one of those types of kids. Nothing, I can't say anything about it. I saw who he ended up getting with after, you know, him and my girl talk. It wasn't even, I don't even think they dated. They just talked. And, you know, my young lady ended up with me. And that was where it all began and ended, right? So I know I wasn't my girl's first choice. Nor was she mine. But look at where we at now. Look at where we at now. So, do I believe that a Filipina in her heart of hearts could use a foreigner to make another guy jealous? Yes and no. I wouldn't say it's for jealousy purposes. I would have to say if they're going to use you, they're going to use you for your finances and your resources. Not just to make somebody else jealous. I don't really think that's a Filipino steez. Filipina girl steez. There's got to be something they could get from it if they're going to use you. I'm not saying that they're users. But if she's going to use you, she got to get more out of it than making some dude jealous. You feel me? And that's my time, ladies and gentlemen. This would have been your live stream, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, the YouTube gods, StreamYard gods, my internet gods are not in my favor tonight. So you have to literally hear me talk this out. But I kind of felt like I came through loud and clear, man. Gave you guys enough minutes to really hone in and get an understanding or a feel of what the good doc was trying to put down. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Drop a like. I would highly appreciate that. Make sure y'all caress, molest, and distress yourself all over that like button because it wants it, it needs it, most definitely has to have it. If you guys want to support, please feel free to do so. But like I said, I'm happy and blessed you choose to come through, spend a little bit of time with your boy today. Description area below, man. Patreon is there. If you guys want to check out my exclusive content, either one of the Patreons that you choose, doesn't matter, pick your poison. They each have their own separate videos. Like, there is nothing that it overlaps. Maybe one or two videos have overlap because I put them up there simultaneously for a reason. But ultimately, whichever Patreon you choose, guys, pick your poison. They all have fantastic content. As a matter of fact, drop $2 on one and then drop the $5 on the other. Knock yourself out. A gang of content. All right? If you guys want to support, man, there's a little heart in the corner that says thank you. At the bottom, drop a couple dollars on the Good Doc's book as a way of saying, you know what, Doc, I see you putting in that work, bro. You've been day and night going ham, and I appreciate this shit. Because Doc gonna give you the best of him 100% of the time, or you get me no percent of the time. You feel me? All right. Maybe it's the energy drink in me that's got me hyped, but I'm glad that I was able to get through this video in a coherent manner. All right, and with that being said, man, the Good Doc is officially out, at least nako paalam, which means I am going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Sincerely do. Makita. Mabuhay. Peace.